Okay, and here goes part number 3, food and water. As you can see, we've been joined by Empress Boudica here, who actually right now, if you can see in there, she's got 2 flies in there, and hopefully she may get one of them here before the end of this video. She's an L6 Rhombodera basalis. She was the one who was in a staring contest with Edward the Confessor earlier. So as far as food goes with the praying mantises, for the most part, since you mentioned you were getting some nymphs and everything, L2 nymphs, when they're L2s and L3s, for the most part, they're going to eat pretty much just like Heidi fruit flies, usually flightless fruit flies. Those, if you bought them from a person online or somebody who has like a pretty good online presence and everything, usually you can buy a fruit fly culture from them that is already producing the fruit flies. And the truth of the matter is, if the fruit fly culture is worth its weight, the fruit fly culture will outlast its usefulness with the actual mantises themselves, because by the time, at least I found that with my rhomboderas and my stick mantis, by the time they hit about L4, you can already move them onto houseflies. And then by L5 or so and above, blue bottle flies, and all of that. So, or even potentially mealworms. Although I have found that my stick does not particularly, he doesn't go for mealworms at all. Only my panthers and my rhomboderas do. So outside of that, once they're past eating little fruit flies and everything like that, you know, you can get, you know, bog standard mealworms at Petco or what have you. I know they're in there somewhere, and they're there and stuff. The rhomboderas like them. I know that they do a lot of praying mantis species like them, especially as they get older, like L4s, L5s, stuff like that. You can feed them occasionally to them. They're still gonna love flies. Outside of that, in terms of feeding them things like house flies and blue bottle flies, normally what you're gonna do is you're gonna buy fly pupae. So, and you're gonna buy them by the 100 or more at a time. Now these, as you can see, these are just the pupae. They haven't hatched or anything like that. And when I get these, I put these right into the refrigerator. I'll take some out and put them into, if you recognize these, the little the little deli containers that you get your mantises in. When you get your mantises in these containers, don't throw them out. They're incredibly useful down the road for about 100 different reasons. This is one of them. I have maybe, I don't know, 30 or so of those little pupae in there. I just put them in yesterday, and by about tomorrow I should be starting to see some of these starting to hatch. And yeah, and so once they hatch, you're going to want to take this container, when you see them starting to buzz around in there and they're out of there, put them into the refrigerator, put the container into the refrigerator for about 15 or 20 minutes. Then you can take the container out, and that just kind of knocks them out a little bit. Then you can take the flies that are in there and use a little scoop, like I have like one of these, like a little scoop, and you can just scoop the live flies that are alive, they're just a little bit stunted, and put them into, you know, like a bigger container like this, or even a separate one, and then keep the flies that are alive that you've taken out of there, and put those back in the refrigerator. Those flies that are alive will actually stay that way. They'll stay alive for, I've had them be alive. Oh, she snatched one. Yummy fly. So anyway, yeah, they'll stay alive for up to 5 or 6 days actually in the refrigerator once they've hatched. And then you want to leave this container that still has some pupae in it that haven't hatched, leave that back out at room temperature and everything like that, and just allow them to continue to hatch. Just check on them like every day or so and check for like the newly hatched ones and everything. Get them out of there and into like a refrigerated container so that you can continually have them to use. Other than that, it's pretty simple. I mean, it's not that terribly difficult. You know, like I said, I You know, my panther loves the mealworms. The rhomboderas will eat the mealworms. The stick, he pretty much just goes for flies. So I'm giving her flies right now because she was a little rambunctious earlier because she was in a staring contest with her brother, and she didn't have the patience for the mealworms today, so I caught her when she was on the bottom of her container, and I just threw some flies in there out of the fridge and called it a day. So yeah, other than that, yeah, it's pretty simple. And as you notice, as they get older and everything, you know, and people will tell you, you know, you can even give them, you know, smaller crickets as they get older. Like right now, she's an L6. She's a pretty good sized mantis. She could certainly eat, you know, small crickets and things like that. I don't get them myself for them because I don't think that they're entirely healthy. Well, not that they're not healthy, but they're just from pet stores. They can have parasites on them and stuff like that, and I don't care for that. And even, you know, they can eat, you know, cockroach nymphs, and as they get to adults, they can eat adult cockroaches. But I don't know about you. I'm not wild about the idea of having cockroaches in my house. But yeah, so like I said, they're pretty straightforward. I mean, they could live their entire life, you know, just eating flies, as she's doing right now. And oh, here comes another one. She might actually get this one with the other raptor. Oh, nah, went in the other direction. I have seen these eating double-handed before. Henry Tudor was doing that yesterday. He had 2 flies at one time. So yeah. Like I said, feeding them is pretty simple and everything, and I'll come back in a couple of minutes and we'll do the being prepared thing.